I was actually looking at, obviously you got me into this whole Google Calendar thing.
Yes.
And then so I was like, I was just doing a little bit of reflection on like what I was doing last year, this year. And I was just looking at our calendars, or at least my calendar, like every single day there's always something happening.
Yeah.
Maybe like 85% out of the time.
Yeah.
Like there's always something happening on the day of.
Yeah. No, I remember like even, in the last few months of last year, like my calendar, it would be full today and every day before that and empty every day after. And because things would just come up on the day of, but now it's like I look 2 weeks in advance and my whole week's full like of trips, shoots, calls, meetings. Like it's insane.
Yeah. And this month too is that even though we're not always doing like 100% business work for our clients, is that we've been really on the ball with our content.
Yeah.
Right. And the way we've evolved making our content is so wild to me, because I remember when we first created the business Landlord Media, we would make just random things that didn't even align with our brand.
Yeah.
We just thought that like making content on social media is what was going to actually allow us to build our business.
Yeah.
We were so more focused on creating like creative content more than actually working on the business itself.
Yeah. And like you said, it was just content because we thought we should be posting. There was no like actual kind of purpose behind it. Like we were trying to be educators, but our service has nothing to do with education or teaching. Is like, and there's value there, right? Being the authority in your space. But yeah, we just didn't really know how to approach it. But I think those are the things we kind of had to go through, to get to this point.
Yeah. But one thing too, though, is that I know there's this whole thing where like you have to be an authority, but that's not necessarily always true in my opinion, especially when you're building a brand.
Yeah.
Right? Like you want to be an authority in terms of like you want to be the one that's very consistent in putting out content, reminding people of what it is that you're doing or what you were doing, but it's not necessarily always have to be super educational.
Agreed. Especially you just have to, and that's the thing, like we just saw it as, okay, we want to produce videos, so we just have to be teaching everyone how to produce videos. But it's like, yeah, you got to think about why is that? Like, are you selling training on these things? Then yeah, that should be your content, of course. But like, yeah, you just got to take a step back and think, why? What does my customer want to hear from me? What do they want to see? Like, and we just weren't thinking that far ahead.
Well, for us, it was a little bit different because we were trying to build our portfolio too, right?
Very true.
So we were building our portfolio. So we thought that like, okay, we have to make these mock-up videos where we'd make a video for like any product that we would see laying around.
Yeah.
And so it was somewhat on brand of the content we're putting out, but we didn't really have a direction of what it is that we wanted to tell our audience that we did, right? They just saw that we made videos, but we weren't really communicating of what our business was.
And actually, you know what? I was saying how like, yeah, it was just not on brand. Like we weren't in the right direction. But the reality is, I think that was all very valuable for two reasons. One, yeah, we learned that wasn't exactly the direction for us, the type of content we should be making. But more importantly, it doesn't matter that it was in the right direction or not. It was just showing people that we existed and we're doing stuff. Like it did work. We did get people messaging us, and just even people who we already knew just being like, oh, you guys do this now. That's cool. Like it did do what it was supposed to do. And like, so I think the lesson there is just like learn and think, but don't overthink to where you're not posting anything. At the end of the day, being out there and just showing stuff and progressing online, it's almost like you are the story, like storytelling is so important, and you kind of show your journey figuring it out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I definitely do agree with you, but there are also different ways of approaching it. For example, for us, we were doing everything because we were still trying to figure out what we were as a business, who we were as a business, and we were trying to figure out the whole social media game, right? But I think for businesses that are already established, who already have a strong brand, I think they don't need to play around and figure things out. I think they should already have a way of how they do things, and then that should just be shown on social media.
For sure. Yeah, no, that was very much for people in our position where we had no idea even what our business was. So it's like, you don't have to hide and be quiet until you have every answer. Like you can show the process of you figuring it out. But of course, if you're an established brand and then you start posting completely unrelated stuff, it can hurt that brand. But but those people, they should already know kind of what they're doing or have a team behind that. But I have a question for you though. Do you think it's possible for a new business
to compete in the market in today's age without having social media? Any social media presence? Yeah.
I mean, it would vary. Like, it's so dependent on what it is, right? But like, you know,
A new business without any previous relationship or network.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible?
like, I think it's possible. That's like a word I would say is it's doable, but I think it's like the worst. Like, I think neglecting social media, especially in that position, would be the biggest mistake, because it's just
Yeah.
like it's just thousands of eyes for free, like
Yeah.
just free. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, you could. Again, it depends kind of what industry it's in. Maybe it's just like a corner store, like they're just kind of their location is their marketing. But you
Yeah.
know, like even still, being on social media is just thousands more people seeing you. Like, it, to me, it's possible, but it's kind of, you're just wasting a huge potential that,
Yeah.
you know, like, I think it's very valuable.
Yeah, because for me, I think you can definitely run a business without being on social media, 100%. It's still happening today, right? But I don't think it can compete the way you want to be competing.
For sure.
Without
It's-
social media.
There's no question it is
Right?
going to help you win faster.
Exactly.
Now, I have a question for you. For people who think like, you know, oh, I want to make content for my business, I want to do this, but like, I'm not an influencer, I don't want to be an actor, talk to camera, whatever. Like, do you think
Yeah.
that's a problem? Do you think they need to be doing that?
See, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing is that there's a misconception where people feel like they need to be an influencer and whatnot, but you don't need to be an influencer. You could literally just make videos of the progress of the work that you're doing behind the camera.
Yeah.
Right? You could literally just be taking photos or videos of your products or service and
Yeah.
just showing results. You don't necessarily need to be in front of the camera like, hey guys, today I'm going to be doing this. You
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to be doing that. I think what's really important is that you just have to be posting shit online to show people that you're active.
Absolutely.
Because the way I see it, especially with stories now, right? Because people follow you, and then people follow you for a reason, because they want to know they want to get an update.
Yeah.
So posting stories tell people what you're doing. Posting post is telling people what you did, right? So for someone who's really into whatever your brand is, they want to know what's going on all the time.
Yeah.
And even Instagram knows this, because the people that you watch this story frequently, they're the ones that show up first on your
Yeah.
feed, right? Even though you've already seen it, sometimes it'll just show up, and then like you don't realize it when you scroll. And I don't even think a lot of people do scroll to the end, but like you realize, oh wow, like this person has a story,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's really important. You don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera, but I think it definitely needs to be posting stuff.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, stories are an interesting one, man. I mean, I couldn't tell you the actual number, but I saw a stat that's where most people spend their time on Instagram right now. It was
wow.
Reels for a long time, and then it moved to Stories.
Yeah.
So it is absolutely huge. And it's something like, you just open it, you know, like you said, the first person is someone you're actually interested in, you open it, and then you just kind of 20 minutes later, like, why am I even looking at stories? I don't even care about these people. I'm so far
Yeah.
down the list, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
But you're just locked in, you know?
But isn't it wild how like social media is literally engineering everybody to think differently?
Yeah.
Like it's engineering everyone to behave differently. Like for example, it's just so addicting. Like for a lot of people, it's just very addicting. They put content that are very addicting, so that way you just find yourself scrolling. It's almost like in a grocery store, right? Like the
Yeah.
most important basic staple things like milk and eggs are gonna be the very back of the
Yeah.
store, so the
Put
walk, so you
candy
walk
and
through everything.
The Valentine stuff up front, like all the
Exactly.
exciting stuff. But literally, like the way they designed like TikTok and Reels, they're using the same like psychological tricks as like slot machines. It's like
Really?
quick, like
True.
quick flick, and then like, oh, big reward of something you really find funny or whatever. Then kick flick, you're like hoping. It's that like
Yeah.
little drops of like dopamine, like you get it, and then you're kind of bored for a while, and then you get it, and you're like
Yeah.
seeking it again. But I actually saw. So it's interesting because that's a huge issue, that it is so addictive, and like that's literally how they designed it. They built it to be addictive. That's how it works. Their goal is to keep people on the platform longer.
Of
So
course, that's how they make their money,
exactly.
right? There's no such thing as a free social media, because you pay with your attention.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, and we actually made a video about that back in the day. But so I saw, because they're getting so much backlash for that they're actually starting to implement where if you're under 18 and you're on Instagram after midnight, it'll send you a pop-up like, hey, you should go to bed, like sleep is really important.
Really?
Like, just like kind of a note, like you can easily just click it away, but they're
Yeah.
trying to like kind of, I guess, I don't know if they're actually trying to move the other way or just kind of stop the backlash, but
Yeah.
they're implementing that. So it's interesting.
But that's the thing. It's so difficult though because you can just ignore it. It
It's
just
so
becomes
easy.
a notification.
I mean, I literally have a
Right?
screen time limit on Instagram, and it hits every day, and I just skip it. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but one thing, you know, Gaia, she also has this thing where she puts a limit on her social media
Yeah.
on Instagram, and then you can put a passcode to like re-unlock it or whatever. She actually got her mom to put in the passcode, and she doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
Right. It's so
That's
addicting.
smart. It's
and
it's good because when I first set that timer, for me, yeah, it's just like I can either say okay and it closes Instagram, or I ignore it.
Yeah.
But at first it worked, like
Yeah.
because I wanted to stop, and so that was just a reminder, like okay, stop, and I'm like, yeah, I should stop, put it away, and then I kind of was like, no, I don't really care, I'm working, whatever. So it just kind of became this like thing I do every day. I just hit ignore, but that's smart because you have no choice. Like,
so for me though, I've actually been spending a lot more time on social media for a different reason though. I've actually been studying social media a lot more. So I come across content, I don't enjoy it for what it is. I kind of just like study, okay, why did this content blow up, or why is this content doing so well? And then also I watch a lot more ads. There's literally times where like, because right now we're trying to run ads and like we're trying to educate ourselves with ads. I literally would skip everything, and when I see an ad, I would look at it, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it's an ad from a big company,
Yeah.
right? Because when it's from a big
money behind it.
there's money behind it. They've already done their creative testing, and
Yeah.
so this is the winning ad, right? And then so you just study it. So I see social media different now. Of course, I still consume it, and I have to. It's our job.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? We have to know what's going on social media in terms of like creating like engaging videos and whatnot. But it's definitely very interesting. Sometimes I feel too woke. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
I'm just like, okay, I know, like for example,
Yeah.
I know this is an ad, or like, okay, I know where this guy is going,
I
or
know
for example,
why he started the video that way.
exactly.
Like, yeah.
Or even when people are just creating content, because I know at the end of the video they're going to be selling a product, or when there's an advertisement that they're subliminally just trying to promote without it coming off so like so planned out.
Yeah.
Trying to make it so organic.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. It's very cool to look. And then also, yeah, when you see an ad that like you see like 10 times, you're like, okay, they're like, this is clearly working because they're continuing to push this. So it's like, why? Why is this working so well for them? Like, what are
Yeah.
they selling? What does it lead to? What's the hook? Why is this hitting so hard? But
Yeah.
no, it's really interesting. But going back to what you were saying earlier about how they don't need their like face on Instagram and stuff, and that's very true. But I think one thing people should avoid, and sticking to this topic of kind of just analyzing videos and why they work, what you don't want to be doing is just like every day post a picture of your product and like, come buy the product today, come buy the product today, come buy the
Yeah.
product today, because nobody cares, nobody wants to be sold to.
Yeah,
So it's,
absolutely.
totally 1000%, you don't need to be on camera, you don't even need to be like doing the videos where it's you holding the camera with your hand in it. Like it could be voiceovers, or it could be just text on screen explaining it, but try to find some way to either tell a story or provide value or something else. Because if you're just there asking people to buy every day, like
Yeah.
why would anyone feel the need to follow that? You know?
And that's the thing too, like back then that used to work.
Yeah.
Infomercials used to work back then, but nowadays people have just so often that they can recognize pattern.
people are sick of being sold to, I think. Like they're-
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
but unfortunately, like we live in a world where like people are still going to be materialistic, and people will still buy things. But I would definitely say that people definitely have gotten a lot smarter in terms of
exactly.
understanding what's going on
Yeah.
when they're being sold to. And also social media doesn't allow you to just promote things without you saying that it is an
Yeah,
advertisement.
exactly.
Otherwise it'll get taken down.
Yeah.
Which is definitely nice.
So yeah, I think like you said, people are getting smarter. They're knowing, we analyze it to a crazy degree, but like people see that like, oh, you're trying to sell me this. Like they get the little gimmicks, the little hooks of, oh, he just did that so he's in the algorithm, or we had a 3-second video with a 10
Yeah.
paragraph caption. And I tried that actually recently, but
Yeah.
I think people are, just kind of getting sick of it. And even if it's something they like, even if it's
Yeah.
valuable, they're just kind of like, I don't want to like feed into this anymore.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy though is that social media is really transitioning in terms of like people getting a lot smarter. Because for example, if you come across one of your favorite social media influencer and next thing you know, they have a brand deal, right? Like a brand deal was so big back then, and it still is right now, right? Back then, people would probably buy because their favorite influencer is promoting it, right? But now people know clearly, okay, this is a brand deal. This is just an advertisement, right? Just built into this video. But now but then people in the market are just getting so much smarter. But now there's a thing called user-generated content. It looks so organic. It doesn't seem like it's a paid ad. It's not someone famous. It's not someone extravagant. It's just like, hey guys, let me talk to you about this thing.
Yeah.
It could literally be filmed on an iPhone 8. And then it'll go viral.
It's so funny because it's such a transition. Like the pendulum kind of swung to like the higher production, just like put a famous person in a really high production video and you're good, you're selling out. But like now, like you say, user generated content. And I think something we talk about a lot is it's no longer about just putting it in front of people, but it's like telling a story, making a story out of what the product is or what problem it solves or something. And a perfect example, like the user generated stuff was, I saw this ad for TaskRabbit. Okay. And it was literally a sponsored ad from the TaskRabbit account. Yeah. But the video, like, I didn't know that until like 20 seconds in because it just starts with a girl like, I just bought the new frame, the Samsung Frame TV. Yeah. It's going to be like the best thing for my new room I'm designing. Like, I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. 20 seconds in, she's like, so I was trying to mount it and I couldn't figure it out. And then I picked this like super helpful guy from TaskRabbit. He had great reviews, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when I looked down, I'm like, oh, this is a TaskRabbit ad.
Yes.
Like, I didn't even know. Yeah. And it's so natural that she's telling a story. I'm just there like, oh, how's this going to work out? How does it turn out? Like, I'm not thinking about the company or anything, but now I'm like thinking, oh, next time I'm in that situation, blah, blah, blah.
That's actually really smart. You know why? You know where I also see that strategy? Mr. Beast video. Before, like when there was when there's a brand deal behind a video, people would talk about this video sponsored by blah 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 blah. Yeah. But now if you watch a Mr. Beast video, it'll literally be just a normal video throughout, and then next thing you know, at the end is like he's gonna be talking about the sponsor of the video. Yeah. Which is really actually smart because if you really think about it, people that will stick long until the end of the video are the ones that are like your quote unquote loyal fans and the ones that are going to convert a lot more.
And even more how he works in, because if he just like finished the video and then was like, okay, here's your ad, people would just okay, the video's done, I'm leaving. But he does it like in the middle of kind of the climax. Like he'll literally say, and this is a sponsored video, and then something crazy will happen. Yeah. And so if you want to do this, blah, 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 and then he's able to integrate it. You can't just skip it because you'll miss the climax of the video. Like
he's so smart, bro. And he doesn't put it in the beginning because if he does, then people will click away. It's like, man, I don't want to watch this video because it's just sponsored by this video game or whatnot, right?
But you know what's insane? So I heard him on a podcast recently. So, you know, his videos, they like average more views than the Super Bowl, like
100 million
once a week, you know, like it's insane.
It's wild.
And so he was saying like, he was having a hard time finding companies that can afford brand deals with him. Yeah. And like, it was literally getting to the point where they're like, hey, that number that you're charging is like 50% of our entire year's marketing budget. And he's like,
or more than.
I'm not giving you a discount. You're getting Super Bowl views and probably with a more engaged audience.
Absolutely.
And like a better ad and more trusted kind of source. And like, so it's worth that. So that's why he started to say like, it just ended up making more sense that I make my own companies and promote them because I can take the revenue from that. It's a free ad.
It makes me wonder too. It makes, I mean, I know how they've been able to figure this out, but I don't know why a lot of people are still spending a lot of money on ads on TV because it takes a bit longer to convert. There's an extra layer of a barrier for them to actually go on and buy that product, especially if it's like an online service or an online product. If you're buying Coke or Pepsi or whatnot, you can go to the store, you'll just remember it. You know? Like,
and those just like for those
it's like
brands,
it's like brand awareness. But in terms of like if you want to generate leads or like you want to convert, if you have a Super Bowl ad, you're not gonna be able to click your TV and next thing you know go to that link. That's why on YouTube, whatever it is that they're promoting, you just go into the description, you just click the link. It's so smart.
Seamless.
But the way they're doing it now on TV is that they just have a QR code.
I've seen that.
Did you see who was it? Not Bitcoin. It was frig. It's just like a broker for crypto.
Okay.
So their ad was literally just the QR code for like a minute, bro.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
mad I can't remember the name, bro. It's so popular. Is the fucking hell, man.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's blue, bro. Okay, but anyway, so that people are definitely getting smarter, but I think ads on TV is definitely gonna eventually go away.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's just like, from what I hear, like, I don't know much about TV numbers and stuff.
But it was Coinbase.
Coinbase. There
Yes, there you go.
But like, TV shows would be like hitting world records if they're just getting like average YouTube views per episode. Like, it's just not the same. And I mean, I guess I don't know what high-end influencer marketing costs, but it's like, at least it used to be way more expensive. Maybe that's changing, honestly. Like, because there's so, like, people are like, influencers are realizing how much value they hold. Like, so it's possible that influencer marketing is just more expensive these days, but it's also it's real.
I think influencer marketing is definitely going to be the next big wave, is because the reason why, for example, if you're watching a TV show, you just see an actor or actress and you're just like, okay, that person's really cool. Whereas if you're watching an influencer, you can just go on their Instagram and then you can see their posts, you can see their life. You feel there's a level of connection where you feel like you know them.
Yeah.
Right? And then so there's a trust that's built around that, between you and your screen and them, that makes you feel like, oh wow, this person is my friend, so whatever they do, I'll follow it, or I'll buy whatever it is that they're selling.
Yeah, there's that trust.
Exactly, you create that trust already.
Yeah.
And so, but that's the thing too, like a lot of like influencers, they could be a big YouTuber, but a lot of it too is a lot of them make more money on the social media side of things. You'll see that often. A lot of YouTubers, they might have a semi following on YouTube, but then they convert all of their sales on social media, like on Instagram, right?
TikTok Shop, like,
that's wild.
I mean, it's crazy the amount of ways you can make money, like, just through some views. Like, like, I mean, the easiest way, especially on TikTok, is just like do product reviews, like cool, unique Amazon products, link in bio.
Yeah.
They go through that link. Anything they buy on Amazon, you're getting a percentage of. Like, it's such a easy, and it's so easy to just put out 10 of those videos a day and just go viral. It's like, it's crazy what social media has done to, like,
to businesses.
Like, people,
it's created a lot of businesses. It's created a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Definitely, if we want to dive into the bad things of social media, how people have TikTok brains and have like short attention span, and people just don't even care anymore.
I mean, here's the thing.
Like,
and this has been true for all time. Like, and it's no different with social media. You are either a consumer or a creator. Like, you make things and you take advantage of things, or you just let them kind of lead you. So it's like, it's social media, if you're just kind of stuck on it all day, every day, and it's designed to make you stuck on it.
And this exactly, bro. They hire like people, engineers that get paid millions and millions of dollars a year for them to design an application for you to be a zombie on their app. To stay as long as possible. I actually came across this video where he's an entrepreneur, and so he was in IT, and so he created this dating app, and the dating app was so good, and then he went to angel investors and he said, this app is amazing, but we have to pass on it. And he said, why? Because it's way too good. People are just gonna get off the app so quickly.
Oh wow.
And then so if you think about it, like, the app was so good that people were going on dates. Like, this app had a partnership with local restaurants, so then they can set up the dates automatically and whatnot. And it was so good, it was so well thought out. And then the investor said, no, we can't do it because people are just gonna get off the app and no one's gonna use it. How are we gonna generate money? And so it's because all these apps are designed for you to come back. Even with Tinder, bro, if you really think about it, if people are finding real love, why is Tinder a thing?
Bro, you can get a monthly membership, like, on Tinder, like, that's where you get, like, I don't know how it works, but it's like you get more likes or whatever. But
yes, I did. I came across a video where there was like, they were doing like a study on Tinder about like on why it's so addicting, is because they said something along the line of like, when you first create an account, it's like a casino. When you first create an account, they would show you like quote unquote the hottest girls or the hottest guys in your neighborhood, and you're like, oh fuck, man, these people are hot, and it makes you want to scroll and makes you want more and more, and then I guess your membership or whatever your turn runs out, and then okay, now you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But they get you hooked in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
These apps, yeah, they very much follow the casino gambling kind of
Yes.
psychology, and it works.
Man,
it works very well.
That's how you get people, man. And
Yeah.
it's fucked. But I mean, that's just the way. That's the world that we live in. That's why it's so important is as a human being for you to be able to take a step back and be disciplined enough and be like, hey, let me chill out.
Yeah.
You know, it takes.
I mean, there's two sides, right? Yeah, you have to have your own self-control to pull back and not get sucked into it. Same way with gambling, you know, like that's easy to get sucked into and you have to hold yourself back from it. But
Yeah.
there also on the production side as a creator, like
Yeah.
you can think of, okay, well, this is such a powerful thing that's like taking over. Like, how can I be part of, how can I like learn it and understand it and utilize it
Yes.
to my advantage instead of letting
Yes.
it just take advantage of my life, you know?
Absolutely, or bring in more value by creating content that are
actually
valuable,
helps people.
that help people.
You know what's crazy?
Exactly.
Like, and this is a perfect example of like how we keep talking about how just like kind of social media is just changing. People are like changing what they want. Like
Yeah.
there are literally people kind of very popular pages that are just saying get off Instagram. Like their whole
I know
thing is
that's
like,
so it's counterproductive.
yeah, but that's what people want. And the funny
Yeah.
thing is those pages do well because the people don't. They just want to hear
Yeah.
these like positive thoughts, but like
Yeah.
still, you know, like there's ways to use content in a
Yeah.
positive way
Yeah.
that can help people.
Like exactly. Like for me, the biggest thing for me is that I think if you have an issue with getting off social media, I think you don't necessarily need to get off social media. You just need to replace entertainment with education. So that way, because for me, for example, I could spend 3 hours on YouTube.
Yeah.
From an outside perspective, that's terrible. Why are you spending 3 hours a day on YouTube? But then I could be learning on how to run my business better.
Yeah.
That's education, right? I could be learning on how to, I don't know, how to learn how to meditate or things like that, right? Like things that will actually benefit me and then get off of it.
Yeah.
But if you're just on there watching like nonchalant, crazy streamers doing whatever, then it's just like, okay, you're not really using it to its fullest potential.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is too, like, yeah, it's easy to want, you know, the funny videos and the things that, cause that's what gives you that dopamine rush and keeps you coming back. But
Yeah.
you can tailor the algorithm for yourself. Like if you see videos that are like kind of toxic or you just don't want to be seeing this type of stuff, you can
Yeah.
say, do not show me this type of content. Like do
Yeah.
not recommend this. Like
Yes.
you can tailor it to
Yeah.
yourself, but nobody wants to because then it gets
Yeah.
boring. And that's kind of
Yeah.
the goal, right? Like you don't want it to be this slot machine you can just pull out of your pocket all day, every day. Like
Yeah.
if you want to get off that, you kind of have to make it a little more boring for yourself.
Yeah, bro. You know what's so funny is that if we last topic about like Instagram, but like on our podcast channel on Instagram, we don't use it. I just go on it to post and whatnot, right? And then when you go to your like For You page, it's just like a bunch of girls, just
Yeah.
like what the hell? Like we don't even know, we don't care about
Yeah.
these things, but it's just like they're trying to hook you into this. It's like they're baiting you in. It's like, yo, like why is that even there?
I was saying, yeah.
And it's like I was
yeah.
asking, yo, do you use this? Because
Yeah.
like it's gonna feed off your algorithm, whatever you like, and you say no,
Yeah.
I don't use it. I just use it to post, and it's just like, yo, like it's so fucked up on
Yeah.
how like they really try to reel you in.
Like, you
because
can
on
look,
my
yeah.
personal, it's like it's all fighting, it's all
Yeah,
business.
Yeah,
That-
me it's like
and
literally
Dobermans.
watches cars and like,
exactly, yeah,
just
fighting
random videos.
cars
Yeah.
and business.
But yeah, you can only look on the podcast one. Like, there's no liked post. Like, we don't look on that. But
Yeah.
I was kind of saying, like, I think they just pick, like, until they understand you through your like actions.
Yeah.
They just pick like, okay, what's the most popular thing that people like? Okay, seeing girls and seeing all this stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Start there.
No,
and then if
I
they're not
think-
interested, then okay, what's the next most popular? And then they slowly figure you out.
I think it's because the reason why it might be different, but this is just my speculation, is that because when we created an account, we said, okay, we said our gender and we said our age. So they probably like, okay,
This
this is
age
the
group.
this demographic. They're gonna push this type of content.
That's fair.
right?
Yeah.
But it's just like
It's like
just-
starting with the most basic info they have, and then it's
Yeah.
very quick to learn your actual needs. Like,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like, the data that they can figure out just from you scrolling Instagram is insane.
Bro, that's the thing. Your social media is not free. You literally pay with your data, and listen to us, because this is true. This is, man, if you only knew what Facebook, like Facebook ads, the data that goes behind Facebook ads is crazy. They can literally target people based off of where they live, what kind of phone they use, what they do for work, right? Like your interest. It's so crazy.
I mean, it's insane because it goes deeper. They can analytically figure out things that aren't just on their profile. Like they can figure out, there's a category on Facebook ads, like these people are more likely to buy when you create a sale. Like it's just like, this is their psychology. They click on more sales than just regular, like showing off products.
Or your lookalike audience, right? For example, if you hang out with someone that likes cars or whatever, next thing you know, you might be seeing things about cars and whatnot.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, literally, the last time you purchased shit from Gymshark, that's your payment for using Instagram. Just think about it, right? Because if you haven't had Instagram, you wouldn't have known about Gymshark. You wouldn't have bought hundreds of dollars worth of Gymshark clothes. That's how much you paid for having Instagram.
And if you weren't on Instagram looking at fitness content, you wouldn't even see those ads. You'd see
exactly.
something else.
You would be you'd be seeing something else. Yeah, they literally pull it out. But going back to content though, I have a question for you. Let's say I'm a new personal trainer that wants to get into the fitness personal training business. What kind of content would you advise me to create?
Yeah, I think like just on the topic we've been saying, I think there's a lot of tips you might have heard back in the day that are, you know, it still works. These algorithm tricks, I'm not saying they don't work and get views. It's just like, to actually make sales and drive like a connection, that's where it hurts that more than it helps. Like you're getting views, but it's like people kind of feel taken advantage of. So I think the biggest things that you want to be doing on Instagram right now are telling stories. That's day one. That's the top of the line. That's the main thing you want to be doing. And just being you, like being unique, like letting people connect with you. If that's your business, like a personal trainer, that's you are the business.
It's a personal connection between the other person. And sorry, cut you off. And there's a quote that said like it's super. Everybody wants to be unique, but it's super easy. All you have to do is stop trying to be like everyone else.
Exactly.
And you'll be unique.
But yeah, if you're trying to be unique, it means you're copying someone else you think is unique.
Exactly. And
so
you're not being unique in that
just
sense.
Be genuinely true to who you are and your personality. And if you're quiet, if you're shy, if you're monotone, it doesn't matter. Like that's who you are. And there are people who will connect with that, no question. But in terms of the content itself, like I think top thing, there's two parts, right? It's literally like you said, what you're doing on your stories, just day to day, new client, this client's killing it today, blah, blah, blah. I'm super tired, but still got up, you know, blah, 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 like push through, motivation, whatever. And then posting is what you've done. So this is, you're telling stories. I was able to help this client get from this to this. This client has been with me so long, dedicated, working hard. I'm so proud of them. I have been personal training for 5 years and I just went full time, like whatever, but just telling the stories that people can connect with.
I definitely do agree with you on that. You're 100% on the ball, but there is something that I would add to that that would allow this person to create the proper content, and that's finding their niche, their target. As a personal trainer, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to help women? Are you trying to help kids? Are you trying to help male adults? Are you trying to do strength training? Are you doing weight loss? Are you trying to do I don't know, just to be more athletic? So I think the number one rule and the number one tip I would say personally, and this is something that I've learned from running my business, is that you really need to find your target audience. Once you find that target audience, you then create content based on that. So that way, for example, if your main focus is to help people lose fat, let's say it's women who wants to lose weight, right? So that way your content aren't going to be like, let me show you how to deadlift 650 pounds, right? So that way all your content is targeted towards those people, and this is where the algorithm is your best friend, because whatever content you're putting out there is going to be pushed to the right people. It's a double-edged sword, how it's so good, but it's also so good for like, you know, it's like, it's great for you on a business side of things, but on a consumer side of things, if the things you're consuming are bad, then it's like, it'll keep showing up.
But as a personal trainer, it's like a 15-year-old hockey player is going to react to very different content than a 50-year-old mom who just wants to like be a
Lose
little more
weight.
fit. Like,
Exactly.
It's very different. That's
Exactly.
actually a very important
Even
point.
though they're in the same industry, personal fitness
Yeah.
and whatnot, but you have to dive into the more specific.
Exactly.
Which is who is my target audience?
The personal training is the what, like this is what my content's about, but then it's like, who am I speaking to? If you are like, imagine you're giving a speech, right? Like, and you're in a elementary class.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very different speech than if you're in a locker room before a game. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
think of it the same way. You should be thinking of, I only want those people to be looking at this content, so I'm gonna speak to them.
Yeah.
Like we keep talking about this one photographer, I'm blanking on her name right now, but she's just like doing really good with content, like
Yes.
blowing up, like just great stuff.
Yeah.
And like she knows what she does. She does like concerts usually with like female artists, and she's like goes on tour with them and does some great stuff. And so like she's posting content, like she posted one the other day, like basic photo settings for the girlies. Like that's her video, and it's just like I saw it and I actually watched it because I'm like, this is really interesting why she said it this way. Like I
Yeah.
was just intrigued, but it's like that's who your audience is. That's
Yeah.
the brand you're building is
Yeah.
that's the direction. So you don't care for me to look at it and like it because you don't even want me there. Like
Yeah.
so it's like that's the thing. You
You
want
know
to
how
connect.
to, you know, exactly. Connect is a big thing. You want to evoke the right emotions, right? For example, if I show a video of me deadlifting 585 pounds, 6 plates, that's going to evoke a different emotion from a guy who's trying to get strong in powerlifting versus a dad who just wants to lose weight.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
or like
too,
have like
yeah.
his joints work.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
like
like
just, yeah,
it's-
exactly.
yeah.
Just to be functional.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that would be one thing.
That's
Everything
big.
you said perfectly.
But
and
figure
then,
out who it's for.
Yeah, I think that's the number one step.
Yeah.
You know, number one step is actually telling yourself to do it and committing to it.
Yeah.
Number two is finding out who your target audience is, because this is something that you and I have struggled for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
And in the very beginning, and it's so crazy that it took us like, let's say 3 years or so to really figure out what our business is, who we want to target, because at the very beginning, when you're starting a business, you just want it all. You want to be the jack of all trades because you think you're going to make the most money having everybody become your become your client. It's like knowing that you want to be an athlete and trying to be in the NFL, MLB, UFC. It's impossible.
Exactly. You're thinking, yeah, if I just give up on football, like that's
Yeah.
such an opportunity I'm losing.
Yeah.
Whereas if I try all three, then I can have
Yeah.
a chance. And
You
I'll
can
just
maximize your
pick
chance.
one. But you're just sucking at them all, and you won't succeed at any. It's like
Yeah.
you have to know who you're talking to, and who you're servicing, because yeah, it's like you can't, like if you make your whole business and speak to one group of people, you'll connect with them so much more than like, and that will benefit and come back to you so much more than if you cast the net 3 times bigger but connect with them 3 times less. Like now you just have 3 times more people who don't care versus a third of the people, but they connect, and it's a community you're building. Like
Exactly.
it's so big.
Or if when you're not consistent with your content, let's say there's one day you're talking about something that a 50-year-old mom would connect to. Next thing you know, the next content you're putting out is like, okay, how do you maximize your deadlift to lift 700 pounds?
Yeah.
Then you already lost that connection that you built with that 50-year-old
Yeah.
mom from your last
Now
video.
they might have followed you yesterday, but now they're like, oh wait, I kind of was wrong. I don't.
Yeah,
wanna watch
exactly.
This.
You wanna give them a sense of
Yeah.
like reassurance that okay, the right decision of following this person was the right decision for me.
I follow this one guy, and it's so interesting because this is a perfect example that connection is more important than anything, because it's this guy who does like yoga videos, which I'm just like I meditate, I do these things, but I'm not following yoga influencers, you know, but he has such a personality that I connect with, that like I'm just so interested, because he'll literally, you know, yoga's usually such a like, it's almost like a religious vibe. It's very like strict, it's very serious, it's very spiritual, whereas he just kind of shows up on the video. He's like, all right, fuckers, clench your butt cheeks, or unclench your butt cheeks, take a breath, sit down, now let go, say fuck the rest of this day, like whatever. Like he'll just speak that way, and it's like so like I just connect with that instantly. And whether I care to follow his videos or listen, it's more just like I like watching you speak, you know, like, and he's just literally, he's deciding not to follow the rules of yoga. He's deciding to be himself.
Exactly. And that's
like,
him standing out and being unique in his own ways. Right. And so, and I think that's a really important lesson that you should learn if you want to get into business, is that just be unique. You don't have to follow everyone's footprints, but definitely learn from people's mistakes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too, is that sometimes when you when you like dive into a lot of content about like, okay, about people's like mistakes and whatnot, it may not make sense until you make that mistake.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
sometimes
another
you
big
have
one.
like you have to do it first. Like I said last time, Alex Hermosi, he's not a big fan of like reading self-help books or just like entrepreneurship books until you actually start
Try
doing
it.
try it
That-
yourself, so everything
yeah.
else makes sense.
Because the thing is, it's when you're reading these books or watching videos that are teaching you the things you're trying to learn, like it makes you feel good. It makes you feel accomplished, and
Yeah.
it should. Like it's valuable. But if every day you're just watching these videos and learning, but never trying, and just thinking, okay, one day I'll be ready. One day I'll know enough to do it. It's like
Yeah.
you're just kind of wasting time. Like you won't. The biggest thing that'll teach you anything is just doing it and messing up. And I think
Yeah.
the key is, people think they need to be set, established professionals before they start presenting it to the world. But it's like,
Yeah.
you can be a beginner. Just say you're a beginner. Don't say I'm a pro and then try to fake it, because then everyone will see that and it's a waste of time as well. But like, just do it from day one, but say I'm on day one. Come along with me.
Embrace it.
Yeah,
Embrace the process.
exactly.
Like we're what? Like we're on episode 30 something right now.
Oh, wow.
We're nowhere as good as we will be on episode 500.
Yeah, but
Right?
if you go look back at episode 1, it's like us just sitting in front of a black wall, kind of like not knowing. Like,
Exactly.
awkward. Like again, at that time we were thinking we had to follow the rules. We
Yeah.
were like, okay, we can't talk about this. If there's a gap in speech, like we'll cut it and we'll like make sure there's a topic ready. And like we thought there was rules, but it's just like,
Yeah.
be yourself. Like just do it. You know, like
yeah.
like
you
I-
make your own rules.
that's the whole thing. Those are the
in
people
term-
who stand out, are the people
Yeah.
who are like, because the thing is, there might be a way you think of doing a podcast and you're like, oh, but nobody does that. That's weird. That's whatever.
Yeah.
And that could literally be that innovative thing that changes podcasting, because that thing in your head that you think is just a dumb random thought, you might be the only person that's ever thought of that before. It's like,
Exactly.
be
Because
okay
it's
with
unconventional.
Yeah.
Or when you try to follow someone else's format, then like, oh, you're a wannabe.
Exactly.
X, right?
Exactly.
It's like, okay.
that. And it just doesn't connect with you, and you're just trying to follow this like.
It's almost
thing.
like you're acting now
Yeah.
at this point, right? If you want to be a certain way, then like you almost have to act, like if you're not stoic, don't act stoic.
Exactly.
Like I see a lot of these guys now that are just like trying to be like so stoic, like
Yeah.
bro, like it doesn't suit you. It's
Yeah.
not who you are, like you're frail, like
and
chill out.
Like that won't work for that person. That won't make them succeed, but it
Yeah.
will for the person that actually is like that. Because it's not about like being stoic means you're gonna win or be popular. It's that person's being themselves. That's why they're popular. Like that's
Exactly.
why it's working.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if everybody just wants to be everybody, then like this whole world would just be so fucking blank.
Yeah.
Like it's just no flavor. But I know we don't have much time, but I just want to touch up on some of your goals for 2024. I know January just went by. This is the last day of January. I just want to know where your head's at in terms of maybe if you want to share some personal goals or like some of the business goals. I just want to
Yeah.
I just want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah. I mean, hey, like I'd say the way we've done this first month of the year, like I just want to keep like we're doing everything I want to be doing right now. I'm very happy with how we're doing things. Like just I mean, we're both full time officially as of this month. Like we're both in it. Like we're doing like fun things, we kind of transitioned to just we only want to work with people. We don't want to talk like hourly rates and this and that. It's like we want to just work with people that we're excited and we like are going to kill it and everyone's going to be happy and everyone wins. Like those are the projects we want to work on. And there might be certain projects that we make less than we would have or we would have turned down before because of the money or this or that. But it's like those are the things that are in just a month, like building us so many connections and giving us really good videos to use as case studies. And it's like, I love that. So I just want to keep in that mindset and not get desperate and like, not overthink it. But for me too, I think a big one is finding a little more balance on my personal kind of self and growth. So like, since we got the studio till the end of the year, like I barely touched the gym, I like basically woke up, went straight to my computer at the studio and then was in bed on my computer until like 2 a.m. It was like it was what was needed, but it was unsustainable.
Yeah.
So now, you know, I'm trying to work out more. I'm trying to read a book a month this year. I'm trying to like do things like that. So that's kind of my goal this year. But yeah, what about you? How you feeling?
Me, yeah, no, similar to you. I mean, I think the process that we've created in the last month is something that I want to keep on going. I think we have the right momentum. I don't think there's really much necessary. I don't think there's anything that I want to add on to what I'm already doing, because the things that I'm already doing is already overwhelming. I think I just want to get better at it, right? I don't want to add a new skill or whatever, or just add a new business. I think I just want to get better at what I'm already doing and excel at it, right? If let's say I'm at level 10 in business, I just want to get to level 25, right? It's a slow process. And I think I just, definitely build more connection in 2024 in terms of on the business side of things and on personal side of things, right? I think as we grow up, we kind of forget the important things, right? Whether that's spending time with family or just putting time onto ourselves. I think that's something that I really want to focus on. Solidifying that relationship with myself with fitness and health, right? Because like you said, like last year, I probably, out of the 365 days, I probably only worked out like 60, you know, like 60, 70, you know. That's terrible. That's terrible for who I am as a person.
Fair.
Back like a couple of years ago, out of 365, I probably work out 300 out of those days, right? Staying active. And so, as you know, I'm taking that a bit more serious, going to the gym. I'm suffering some minor injuries, but I'm still going, you know. It's just building the habit of doing the good things that are important. In terms of the business, we do have an X amount of revenue that I want to hit. We changed it up a couple times, and the first time was I don't want to say the number right now, but the first time
I don't want to like.
I don't want to jinx it.
It's a scary number.
It was a scary number,
so I don't want to. I don't want to jinx it. I just want to.
So it was a scary number, but then I was like, "Yo, fuck that, man. We can go bigger." And then we increased it to bigger, and that bigger number is something that's always engraved in my head. And it makes the first goal so little. It made the first goal like, of course, that's a no-brainer.
It's so funny, like when we set the first goal, it was like, well, I hope. I mean, we'll do our best, but that sounds unreasonable. And then we're like, I mean, logically, let's think about it. Like, we could do this. If we just do these things, we could do that. It's like, oh yeah, that goal is nothing.
That goal is.
So it's funny, like the psychology of it. But,
exactly. Is the inner belief? It's just like once you break your belief in something, it just becomes reality, right? For example, if you have the hard belief of making $1,000 a month on a business, at the very beginning, when you're only making like a couple $100, that seems like weird, right? Like, oh, that seems impossible. But once you break $1,000 and you break that the belief of not being able to hit that, $1,000 just becomes normal now. And then you move on to the 5,000, you move to the 10,000. It's like, whoa, like 5,000 is a no-brainer.
Or
right?
like, you'll be thinking, okay, I'm working towards 1,000 a month. That'll be like huge. And then you start hanging out with people who are doing like 10 a month, and you're like, wait, 1,000 is like easy, like it's a no-brainer. Like, it just changes that mindset.
Bro, the mindset is different, because I've had some people where I've talked to about our goals, like in terms of like how much we want to make on this year on a revenue wise. The look that they gave me was like, oh, like that sounds impossible. No, there's like, oh, that's impossible. Like you're delusional. And then like we talk to other people who are up there. They're like, that's it. You know, just like, whoa, like the shift is so different. The mindset shift is so different depending on who you hang out with. And so in 2024, I definitely want to lean in towards finding more connection with people with that mindset of like, that's it. Absolutely. Rather than like, whoa, you're delusional.
I mean, we know people who are making our annual goal this year monthly. Like we know, like this is minimum. The money's out there, man.
There's money out there all the time. It's just that you have to have the belief that you can get that money, and then you actually have to have the discipline and work ethic to actually attain that.
I think that's a big thing too. That was a weird mindset for me, like especially getting into this business. Like growing up, I never, like entrepreneurship seemed like the no-brainer, obvious way to go, but I never actually thought of that because I was like, I'm just not that type of guy. I'm not the guy who was like selling chocolate bars and flipping things in elementary school, because you always hear those stories. But like something I've realized is like an entrepreneur is not a type of person by any means. It's literally just believing you can achieve, like, you can make this a job and a business.
Yeah.
And then just working really fucking hard at doing it.
Absolutely.
That's it. And
absolutely.
like, it's not, I don't think anyone can do it. Like, if everyone in the world was entrepreneurs, the world would fall apart. But like, and some people just don't want to, but I'm just saying, like, if you think that makes sense for you and it's like the freedom and everything, it isn't a type of person. It's just a level of discipline, because it's hard.
It's
and
how far do you want to go? How
Yeah.
far are you willing to suffer?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think entrepreneurship, one key thing that I've learned in 2024 or in 2023 is that being a real entrepreneur is having the skill of meeting and like having a people skill.
That's
you know,
huge.
like
Yeah.
being able to connect with people, being able to like have conversations and just like, but that's the thing. Yeah. A lot of people say that you need to be an extrovert to be an entrepreneur, but you could definitely be an introvert and just be a successful introvert
You can
as
run
long
a
as
business from your computer. Like,
Yeah.
like obviously our business, we need to be out and talking to
Yeah.
people, but like, there's so many ways to make money right now. Like, you can
Absolutely.
figure it out. But I do have a call in 2 minutes, so let's do it.
Let's wrap this up. Thank you,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you for
for
watching.
tuning in. And I feel like that was a good comeback
Yeah.
for a solo pod.
Solo pod, yes. Another goal, speaking of goals this year, is like, we're really trying to make this pod look just fire. Like, just not
Yes.
look, but like, just be good. Like, we're trying to really put more effort and make this a more valuable thing and just cool and enjoyable to watch. So hopefully you guys see that. Hopefully you guys notice the upgrades. And
Sir, sorry if I sound so congested. I have a little bit sniffle, but
all good. But yeah, we'll also be a little more consistent this year. So just keep an eye out for all that.
and yeah, thank
See you
you.
next time.